The Buea Mukunda Royal Palace crowns 44 notables in a grandiose ceremony conducted by the first-class chief of Buea, Dr. Robert Isuka Endeli, as he charges them to continue shining the light in all spheres of life. Plus, the Cameroon Athletics Federation has conducted a press conference today on their degree of preparedness towards the 29th edition of the Mount Cameroon Race of Hope. Key innovations will be put in place as announced in the press conference. We bring to you the resolutions taken in Buea today in this newscast. Hello there, viewers of High Television. It's Monday and it's the 8th of January 2024. For presentation, I'm Eternal Larry Kelvin Tabot, and this is High Prime. We start off with this story from Buea, where the Member of Parliament for the Buea Urban Constituency, Donald Esembe Malumba, alongside Define Hate Now and Civic Watch Association, in collaboration with 5 taxi drivers syndicates, has organized a hate-free speech campaign where they educated the drivers on the need to shun away from hate speech as they combat this ills as they took to the streets of Buea, chanting and painting the streets of Buea with various campaign songs. Titles with Chabi Kitty on that story.
An ambience-filled caravan, chanting songs and messages against hate speech from Checkpoint Moliko to the DO's office Buea, championed by the Member of Parliament for the Buea Urban Constituency, Honorable Malumba Esembe, alongside the non-government organizations Defy Hate and Civic Watch, with a trunk of taxi drivers and civil society actors in the town. The event, themed the Buea Hate-Free City Campaign, took off on January 6, 2024, with the campaigners welcomed at the DO's office by administrators and traditional rulers.
We have all noted that in the past few years, in particular, there was an upsurge of hate discourse. And we thought that, especially in the taxi sector, which is a vehicle, an arena which we all use, from the very young to the old, we should be able to start this campaign, dubbed Stop Bad More, which is all about eradicating hate speech.
We saw taxi drivers who stopped business for over 45 hours and marched and chanted messages which to them and to us go a long way to change narratives as fighting hate speech is concerned. We didn't only see them chant messages, but they handed over to authorities of this town a declaration that they are taking upon them to engage and decide not to actually spread hate speech in their taxis.
At the DO's office, the taxi drivers were further sensitized against spreading hate speech. As an extension of compassion to taxi drivers who have been victims of the socio-political crisis, cash donations and gifts were handed over to the affected drivers and their families by the Member of Parliament and other well-wishers.
So we are here to fight against hate speech. So we build the living together to be stronger.
We have lost so many drivers. The taxi driving sector in Buea has been paying for so many years now. So today we saw something else. We didn't expect what had just happened here today.
Thank the government and thank the honorable who give away the gift. Thank all everybody.
At a time when Cameroon is plagued by several expressions and actions of hate speech, armed conflicts, plus intertribal clashes, such a gesture comes in handy to foster living together, and it is hoped that it be extended to other parts of the Southwest region and beyond.
We move over to one of our major stories, as we did told you, to the build-up of the 29th edition of the Mount Cameroon Race of Hope, slated for the 24th of February 2024. The organizing team members have organized a press conference today that took place in Buea, where they mentioned on the innovation and key resolutions that needs to be put in place for this 29th edition. This caught the attention of sports lady Cynthia Lato, who sat for that sports event, and our report.
Preparations ahead of the 29th Mount Cameroon Race of Hope are intensifying in the Southwest region. In view of the annual sporting event to take place on February 24, 2024, a press conference has been organized in Buea to provide preliminary information on this year's edition. Several innovations were highlighted.
This race, usually we used to do our medicals in the hospital, in the general hospital. The federation, like in Fekaput, the federation this time has decided to do its medical certificate in its federation. This is a sample of the medical certificate because the federation now has a medical doctor who is a recognized medical doctor. So every athlete comes to the federation to register is going to be tested here by the Athletic Federation medical doctor for the Southwest. If he deems it fit that you are fit for the competition, the medical certificate is going to be signed and given to you so that you can now use it to apply. That's the first innovation. So we don't, athletes no more go to the hospital for medical certificates. They come to the federation for their medical certificate. And also we have stepped up our registration to 1,500. It used to be 1,000, but a lot of difficulties. Registration now for the test race is 1,500. Those are the two major innovations we have for this year's test race.
The test race will unfold in different parts of the country to serve as a pre-selection for the foot race. In the Southwest region, this phase of the competition unfolds in Buea on January 20 from the Moliko Stadium to the intermediary hurt and back.
Nous sommes à quelques jours de la course de test race qu'on appelle, course de présélection pour les athlètes du Sud-Ouest, même d'ailleurs, qui voudraient bien se présélectionner ici pour la 29e édition de la course du Mont-Cameroun. Déjà, tout est fin prêt. Les athlètes ont commencé à faire leur enregistrement. Il y a les frais de test race aussi que chaque athlète doit prévoir, en même temps les frais de la licence, sans oublier, n'est-ce pas, les cartes d'identité et les photos pour la licence.
Athletes of the Mount Cameroon Race of Hope take on a 38-kilometer foot race to challenge the chariots of the gods. National and international runners, both men and women, participate in categories including the veterans, senior and junior categories. Over the past years, athletes from the Northwest region have maintained brilliance. This year, hopes are high in the Southwest region that the account will change and the competition will conclude beautifully with the winners emerging from this part of the country.
Fascinating reporting there done for us by Cynthia Latte. We take you to other news stories now. The Mukunda Royal Palace of Buea has crowned some 44 notables in the community and beyond. The result of this exercise that was conducted by the first-class chief of Buea, His Majesty Chief Dr. Robert Isuka Endeli, is geared towards encouraging the third persons to continue with the enormous works that they are doing towards the promotion of living together and other community engagement. The ceremony equally saw a fundraiser for the construction of the Fako Multipurpose Museum that will be erected in no distant time. Alice Lekeli Engu Ikome has more.
Please put your hands together.
Following their contribution towards the growth of various communities and Buea municipality as a whole, the Buea Town Chiefdom, having as head the paramount ruler of Buea, Chief Dr. Robert Esukambela Indeli, together with his members of the Buea Rural Traditional Council, have this Saturday, January 6, installed some notables and distinguished mothers of the palace.
Please put your hands together for him.
After identifying what they have been doing in various communities, position of responsibility was given to them.
Very more deserving Fako persons to be a notable in the paramount chiefdom of Buea. I want to say very sincerely that thankful to His Royal Majesty Chief Dr. Robert Isuka Endeli. And I think one of the things that comes across with this distinction is that, you never throw peelings on a fertile land like Faku. The Faku lands and not expect any good. We have been doing little efforts, not knowing that they were being noticed. And I think this is an encouragement coming from the paramount ruler of Buea. I am using this opportunity with my brother standing and other notables to say that I vouch to continue to produce, to continue to lead, and to continue to support. I'm extremely honored and humbled by this wonderful distinction.
They are responsible to protect the best interests of the chiefdom, independently involved in transforming the chiefdom objectives to action and more. The dual ceremony also witnessed a fundraising for the construction of the Fako Multipurpose Cultural Center.
It's a call for us to make it even much more better for our community, particularly Buea as a whole, and therefore in that way we contributing to make Cameroon a better place.
It's a huge responsibility for most of us, and we think we can handle that responsibility.
The event was a colorful one.
Congratulations to the 44 notables of the town of Buea. We talk something else. The month of January is mostly regarded by many as the longest and the most difficult among the 12 months. As such, many people who spend a chunk of money during the festive period find it difficult to cope during the month of January. In the paper that follows, or interviews conducted for us by our newsroom today, we sought out to find out from the various city dwellers in the town of Buea on how they are coping during this moment of January.
My observation is that, just like you said, a lot of people are crying. There's poverty all over the place. A lot of businesses are very slow, and people don't know what to do. But a wise counsel that I will give is that people don't need to put all their eggs in one basket. What I mean is that we need to be proactive, to foresee. This is where visionary leaders come in. If you're a man of vision, you need to look ahead. What is going to happen after the festive period, so that you'll be able to make sure that you keep property that will help you, or finances or resources that will help you to carry on in the new year.
First of all, permit me to say that people spend a lot of money during these festive periods, and depending on their financial strength, the financial power, so many of them are actually down financially now. But one of the advice I wish to give is that people should plan their lives, plan this festive period, because it is something which is happening every year. In as much as the means are not there, people should be able to spend judiciously, spend little, and be able to keep something for the month of January, because the month of January is always referred to as a very long month. So don't spend carelessly, don't spend anyhow. Be able to keep some money for January. I know many people are really financially down, and it's not very easy for them. But the wisdom behind all this is that you should spend wisely during December period. Don't spend anyhow. Christmas is like the same day that you live from January to December. Just cook moderate, buy moderate drinks, and share with friends, and be able to keep something for the month of January, so that you should not fall prey into the issue of being financially stressed and financially down during the month of January.
Yeah, actually it's very difficult because of the feasting period. People put in a lot of money for the feasting period. January observing, we just realized that people are in difficulties now. It's just by faith. God is just helping, like people of God. But the difficulties, if you move around, you see even businesses are slow. A lot of things are slow because it happens every year. After feasting, January, people say things are difficult, and it's actually true. I think to me now, I'm praying that next year or in feasting time, people should reduce their expenditures, because these are the cause of the poverty in January. during those periods in December, people spend a lot, and January has been difficult just because. So people should reduce the way of expenditure. And like you asked, how do you look at it observantly? I'm observing, I'm seeing families, I'm seeing even the town itself is showing to you that January is really difficult. And so I think it's a true fact that January is always difficult because of the feasting time. So I think that we should only try to adjust it so that we shouldn't have difficult Januaries.
You are watching High Prime, and we are coming to you live from our main studio here in High Television. We take you now to news from the Northwest region, where the city mayor of Bamenda, Paul Achombong, has reacted negatively on the report that was published by a sister television channel in Bamenda, who actually elaborated on the various difficulties involved in Bamenda, as this moment is a dusty area, a dusty moment for the town of Bamenda and her city dwellers. Paul Achombong was speaking to our Bamenda-based correspondent Peter Wingo.
Temporarily, we are providing water to dampen the roads and reduce the quantity of dust that are emanating from the maintenance work we had. Equally, we considered the issue of going back to the double surface dressing of the roads. We really wanted to do it, but we now re-looked again at the cost. It had to cost us another sum of about close to 430 something million, close to 500 million for the double surface dressing for this stretch, which is close about 8 kilometers. The city council, as we all know, actually at the moment cannot raise such an amount of money. Better still, if this road we had to rehabilitate with this double surface dressing were to be sustained, we would have done so. But when this World Bank funded project will come around, anytime as we expect, then what we would have done will surely be demolished. So we're between and in betwixt, whether to do something that will be demolished in a couple of months or to manage and maintain the roads with watering. That is what we are now up to, and that is what we are doing, even if we are not efficient enough to eliminate in its totality the dust. Commence the building of a city of the future. That is our collective responsibility. As for us as the city council, and for me as the city mayor, and for me as apparently the parent of the people of this municipality, I most humbly beseech them to be resolutely confident in the state and her institutions, to be confident in their future, and contribute each and every one of us our share, fare and quota in these wonderful development projects which we are engaging in. For instance, we've made it a point of duty that we're going to improve on our road infrastructure. We're going to improve a lot more this year in our hygiene and sanitation, specifically in the collection and treatment of garbage. I have called the enterprise involved in the collection of garbage that we should work together to ensure that garbage is being sorted from homes. That is to say that from homes, biodegradable and non-biodegradable garbage will be sorted out and collected in 2 different containers, such that we can now reconvert this biodegradable waste into manure and other facilities which we've started in the past. For instance, in the city council, we have a very large farm which we've been able to produce tomatoes, yam, carrot, beans and all sorts of fruits in large quantities which are organic oriented, and we're going to work double on that premise this year 2024. We're going to improve on the market situation of the food market, which we think that we will be able to buy our foodstuff from a clean market. We have already launched by C2D 3 major market projects for the construction of a multi-commercial center, one in Bamenda 3, which is about 1.5 billion, one in Bamenda 2, which is about 1.2 billion, one in Bamenda 1, which is about 1 billion. The tenders have been submitted, they have been examined, and we are only waiting for the results to be approved, and the contractors will get to work. This is an event to make sure that we can reduce hawking and street marketing. Finally, we're working on an issue of giving this municipality a better lighting system in the night. One, we have provided for close to 200 solar lighting systems for this year 2024, which apparently in the failure procedures of a new energy, our solar lighting lamps can still give lights to our very dark and dangerous corners in our municipality.
That was the city mayor of Bamenda, Council Paul Achumbong, speaking on the current of affairs in that part of the Northwest region. We now take you to news beyond the shores of Cameroon, where results of the judicial inquiry into the Dana disaster in Libya in the northern part of Africa reveals that dams produce a chunk of the deadly flood water that killed many persons in that part of North Africa. Aisha Mbeng is a lady on that foreign news item.
Massive flooding devastated much of the northeastern Libyan city on September 10 and 11, leaving 4,540 people dead, according to official figures. Libya's Attorney General Al-Siddiq Al-Sor on Sunday said at least 25 experts were unanimous in their assessments that negligence led to the disaster. The results published last week says that the disaster could have been avoided if the recommendations made since 2003 to maintain these dams and build a third had been applied. The torrents of water that occurred in September washed away neighborhoods and damaged critical sewage and water infrastructure that is yet to be repaired, according to the UN, which also said at the time most of the deaths could have been avoided. More than 30,000 people were displaced in Derna and nearly 1 million people were affected by the floods, according to the UN's International Organization for Migration.
Still on our foreign news dossier, the Democratic Republic of Congo's Electoral Commission, CENI, has cancelled vote cast in some 87 candidate area where it was highly contested in the legislative and local council elections. This prompted Aisha Mbeng to pick interest in this story from the western part of Congo.
The CNI in December 31st announced the re-election of incumbent President Felix Tshisekedi. The head of the CNI said Friday, January 5th, that the candidates were involved in illegal activities, which include fraud, illegal possession of voting materials, and intimidation. 3 sitting ministers are named. 12 candidates from the presidential party are listed. The number exceeds 20 when adding candidates of political groups belonging to the ruling coalition.
The announcement of the cancellation of the votes of 82 candidates vying for parliamentary and local council seats was made by the Electoral Commission on Friday night. The head of the Electoral Commission accused the candidates of engaging in electoral fraud, violence, and acts of vandalism. Most of the candidates are members of the ruling coalition. 4 of them are governors, including the head of Kinshasa, Gentini Gobila. The cancellation of their votes sparked protests in some parts of the DRC. The DRC's elections were marred by widespread irregularities on December 20th. Delays in starting the voting, faulty voting machines, and missing names on the voters list caused anger across the country.
In a statement released Saturday, main opposition candidates in the presidential election asked how in a simultaneous election with a single ballot paper, fraud could not have affected the entire general election. The powerful group of Christian churches has demanded an independent inquiry be opened into irregularities and alleged legal violations observed during the general elections in December.
With that foreign news item from the country of Felix Tshisekedi, that is the Democratic Republic of Congo, done for us by Aisha Mbeng, viewers of High Television. This is for the curtains of tonight's newscast, High Prime of Monday, the 8th of January 2024. Thanks for watching and good night from our newsroom studios.